and national community abroad of the People's Democratic Republic of Algeria. Your Excellency, ambassadors who are present here from the Republic of South Africa and also from the People's Democratic Republic of Algeria. Senior officials, good afternoon to everyone. It gives me great pleasure to be here in Algiers today at this ministerial segment of the 7th session of the Binational Commission. This significant milestone is an illustration of the fraternal bonds of friendship and solidarity between South Africa and Algeria. We recognize Algeria's heroic contribution to the anti-apartheid struggle in South Africa. Who can forget the formative years of our struggle when our founding father, Nelson Mandela, came here for training? Those fond memories are cemented in the great history of the two countries and have cemented our bond of friendship for eternal. It is important to translate the excellent relations our countries have into concrete economic ties. To expand levels of trade and investment, I wish to acknowledge and thank our officials on the successful holding of senior officials meetings held from the 17th to the 19th of January 2023, and on the 2nd to the 4th of December 2024, hosted by South Africa and Algeria, respectively. The purpose of the senior officials meetings was to lay the ground and take stock of our bilateral relations in preparation for the 7th session of the BNC between South Africa and Algeria. The senior officials meetings held in the past 2 days provided our senior officials with an ample perspective of self-examination on the status of our bilateral relations. The meetings also contributed to the successful preparations for the holding of this BNC for the mutual interest of both countries, while they are also negotiated the contents of the proposed draft agreements, memoranda of understanding, and identified means of strengthening cooperation for mutual economic benefits. Minister, it is equally important that we institute a ministerial review between sessions of the BNC, as it has been stated by yourself already. This is imperative in our efforts to effectively ensure the implementations of decisions. Our bilateral relationships continues to be enhanced and solidified through bilateral mechanisms which provide for political, economic, scientific, socio-cultural engagements. Nonetheless, we should agree to have more engagements to ensure that our countries take advantage of the enormous opportunities that exist. There are a lot of opportunities to expand and explore areas of bilateral cooperation and which will be the benefit of our two countries. In this regard, trade and investment efforts need to be expanded significantly. The proposed business forum that is currently happening on the margins of this BNC will provide impetus towards expanded trade and investment between the two countries, as it will comprise of senior executives from the private sector. It will also enhance exchange of views between the private sector and businesses of the two countries. Currently, some of the areas of cooperation and those that need to be enhanced with Algeria include specific sectors such as oil and gas, green hydrogen industry, infrastructure build, automotive sector, aviation, agro-processing, industrial machinery exports, financial services and hospitality, agro-processing, pharmaceuticals, banking, insurance and financial services, tourism and hospitality sector development, amongst others. It is in the interest of our two countries to work together in promoting regional and international peace and security, including addressing issues of significance to the global south. In our continent, we are concerned about the recurrence of military coups which amount to unconstitutional changes of government. Consistent with the Leme Declaration, we should ensure that the military establishment refrains from taking control of civilian institutions. South Africa and Algeria should therefore work hard in our continent to halt such outbreaks. South Africa and Algeria are also playing a central role in the implementation of the Africa Continental Free Trade Agreement. The successful implementation of this noble continental developmental initiative will contribute towards job creation, reduction of poverty and inequalities in our two countries and the rest of the African continent. The issue pertaining to the Western Sahara remains among South Africa and Algeria's top political and diplomatic priorities. Both countries continue to support the people of Western Sahara to realize their long-standing peace and self-determination of their country. We also support the need for direct dialogue between Polisario Front and the Kingdom of Morocco. The Sahrawi people should be allowed to determine their own destination through the UN-supervised referendum in line with the provisions of the United Nations Security Council Resolution 690 of 29 April 1991. On the multilateral front, South Africa is of the view that multilateralism is an important conduit for the promotion of mutual and common global interests. There is a necessity, therefore, to work towards seeing progress in the noble attempt to reform the global system of governance, including the United Nations Security Council and the global financial architecture. As we're meeting here today, the international community is increasingly facing a variety of challenges. The state of peace and security in the world is of utmost concern, and the global system of governance, including adherence to the international law, is under threat. An increasingly volatile world has emerged, and it is incumbent on many countries, South Africa and Algeria in particular, to continue our renewed commitment to peace, stability, and development. South Africa, for its part, given the nature of our history of division during apartheid, now puts primacy to the peaceful resolutions of dispute. We believe in the power of mediation, in the effectiveness of negotiation, and in the desirability of peace over war. Your Excellency, there is a persistence of conflict, instability, and wars in some regions of our continent. In our region in Southern Africa, the situation in the Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo remains of concern. It is important that efforts are exerted to find a peaceful resolution to the crisis in this part of the DRC, to ensure that the territorial integrity of the country is realized and its sovereignty assured. Again, in other parts of our continent, conflict and war continue to disrupt stability and therefore development. South Africa called for calm and restraint in the evolving situation in Mozambique, following the recent elections and out of the post-electoral violence. South Africa remains concerned about the ongoing war in Sudan between the Sudanese armed forces and the opposing rapid support forces. We continue to call for a ceasefire and for both warring factions to find time to have engagements and open line of communications. South Africa also hopes that in neighboring South Sudan, following the changes announced by the government regarding the transitional timetable, outstanding matters will in the meantime be addressed by the parties to enable an achievement of durable peace. Developments in the Middle East are also serious and require that the international community plays a constructive role. As you are aware, my dear brother, South Africa has assumed the chairship of the G20. We will continue to use this platform as an important platform to shine the spotlight on Agenda 2063 of the African Union, to advocate for finance for development for the African continent, and also for climate change. We see this as an important role and platform for the African continent to mitigate and bridge between the global south and the global north. In conclusion, Minister, South Africa congratulates Algeria for the successful presidential elections in September 2024, which was an expression of the will of the Algerian people. I look forward, Minister, to a very fruitful discussions. Thank you very much.